Hello and welcome to another week of Capital City Sports. I'm your host, Mike Olson. Last week, Hurricane Florence kept the Gamecocks off the field, but they were back in action this week, starting with volleyball on Friday against Mississippi State. The Gamecocks came into this matchup off of a 5-game winning streak and look to continue that momentum. Eli Brand was there with the action. Eli?
USC is starting off hot this season under first-year head coach Tom Mendoza. Their 9-1 record is one of the best marks they've had to start a campaign in recent years and has the fans hopeful for the future. And although they have started the season strong, they'll surely be tested in the rough-and-tumble SEC. Tonight, they start their conference journey against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The opening set was a battle that was eventually won by the Gamecocks. It was marked by 2 straight aces and dominant play above the net with 18 kills for the match. The second set started off hot for USC, who built a huge lead but allowed MSU back into it late. The Lady Gamecocks never relinquished the lead, however, and won the second set 25-22. The final set was controlled by USC from the start. They committed the least amount of errors in any set at 4 and did what they had to do to complete a sweep of the Bulldogs with a third set win of 25-18. South Carolina will hope to continue getting wins in the SEC when they play LSU at home on Sunday at 1:30. For Capital City Sports, I'm Eli Brand.
Thanks, Eli. The Equestrian team kicked off their season this Saturday as they took on Southern Methodist University. The Gamecocks came into this matchup ranked 8th in the nation. Tom Santinello was there for the season opener. Tom?
Thanks, Mike. This was my first trip to Onewood Farm, but the match between 2 top 10 teams didn't disappoint. The 8th-ranked Gamecocks kicked off their 2018 campaign against the 6th-ranked Mustangs from SMU. The Gamecocks looked to win their second straight match against SMU after beating them 12-7 last year. The match kicked off with the horsemanship and equitation over fences events. SMU raced out to a 5-3 lead at the half behind the strong performance of Nora Gray, who scored an 88 for the Mustangs. Caroline Goot led the way with a 72.5 as USC battled back in the second half with a strong showing in the reigning event. Goot's efforts brought the Gamecocks within a point entering the equitation on the flat event, but it still wasn't enough. Unable to complete the comeback, South Carolina fell to SMU with a final score of 9-8. Gamecocks will be back in action next Friday, September 28th, as they take on the top-ranked, reigning national champion Auburn Tigers. For Capital City Sports, I'm Tom Santinello. Back to you, Mike.
Thanks, Tom. Forrest Tucker was at Stone Stadium on Sunday as the women's soccer team took on Kentucky and looked to remain undefeated at home. Forrest, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Mike. After an overtime loss to Mississippi State in Starkville, the Gamecocks return home tonight. Their opponent, the Kentucky Wildcats, have only won 4 games this season. But Lawrence Chang and company will not care. The Gamecocks are looking to stay undefeated at Stone Stadium. It was certainly a beautiful day for soccer in the Palmetto State. The Gamecocks getting put through their pace in warm-ups with some dribbling, of course. Meanwhile, Kentucky worked on defensive clearances. But the Gamecocks were surely fired up. Picking things up in the first half, the Gamecocks had a chance to score, but their free kick sailed wide. An obstruction foul here leads to another USC free kick where Grace Fisk would score. A fine strike from the English defender. But the match turned on its head when UK goalkeeper Hannah Leonard handles the ball outside the box and sees red. On yet another Gamecock corner, Tatum Milazzo scores for USC. Not looking good at all for the Wildcats. Just when you thought the goals were done, Sol Bagnesdottir fires a laser from outside the box and places it bottom corner for USC. Lauren Chang then looked to score off a through ball, but she shoots wide. In the second half, the game slowed down, but USC and UK had more opportunities to score. However, both teams were unsuccessful. In the end, the Gamecocks tamed the Wildcats. The final tally, 3-0, USC. Columbia remains a fortress for the Gamecocks thanks to a dominating performance. Shelley Smith's side now improves to 8-0 on the season. They look to play Auburn on Friday at home. For Capital City Sports, I'm Forrest Tucker. Back to you in the studio, Mike.
That's all we have this week, but make sure to tune in next week for all things Gamecock athletics. And in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV. For Capital City Sports, I'm Mike Olson. We'll see you next week.